Okay, so willpower. I want to touch on this topic really quickly because that's how quickly willpower disappears. So it's a quick topic and it disappears quickly. So willpower is something that gets depleted very, very quickly, especially if we are under stress, if we have a lot going on. Willpower is strongest first thing in the morning. Keep this in mind. It's strongest first thing in the morning. And because it gets built up overnight when we're sleeping, when we're resting, willpower is built in downtime. Most of us do not give ourselves any downtime. Most of us are on the go all the time, or we're checked out on our phones, or we're watching Netflix, or we're just doing all the time. The way that you replenish willpower is through downtime. It's through taking time to yourself. It's through meditation. It's through ritual. It's through routine. I know you guys have heard me talk about this before. Ritual and routine are so important in terms of how your life unfolds and what your life looks like and how you feel in the day to day. It's something that I do every day. I have a morning ritual. I have a bedtime ritual. And when I get out of sync with those things, I notice a huge difference in my life. I notice I feel disconnected. I feel out of balance. I just feel completely just lost. So my routine and rituals really ground me. So willpower is not the thing you want to rely on, especially when it comes to your eating, and especially if it's late in the day. Why do you think most people start off the day so great, and by the end of the day, after dinner, they're on the couch shoveling chips or popcorn or ice cream in their faces? Willpower gets depleted very, very quickly, and it's only replenished through downtime. It's replenished through self-care. So if you're not doing anything to take care of yourself, if you're not doing anything to just be and to give yourself downtime, I don't know what to tell you, but willpower is not going to be there for you when you need it. And also know that it's not something that you should regularly be relying on, because it's just not reliable. It's not reliable. Like I said when I first got on, it disappears like that. Okay, so the next topic is my client Abby, who I worked with for a while, asked about progress. How do we measure progress when we stop weighing ourselves, which is something I have all my clients do, because getting on the scale hopping is detrimental to our emotional and mental well-being. It's something that I did for years, and it was so detrimental. So if you're someone who weighs yourself regularly and you struggle with food and you struggle with weight loss, my encouragement to you is to cut back slowly. Cut back to twice a week, then once a week, then once every 2 weeks, then once a month. And that's how I had to wean myself off when I started working with my coach. So here's the thing. When it comes to measuring progress, a lot of it is, number one, your bigger goals, right? So what are your bigger goals and how do you measure progress towards them? The problem with wanting to measure progress is that we often are looking at progress externally, like from the weight our body releases. That to us is progress. I don't measure progress that way at all. Like, I really believe that that's not a true measure of progress. The true measure of progress is the inner work that you do to change your mindset, to change the way you're relating to things, to change your relationship with food. That is how you measure progress. It's all about how you feel. It's all about the things you do day to day, the decisions you make, how much you're in the solution, and how you feel. Right? Because getting progress from a tape measure is not real progress, because it will go away. It will go away. That progress, most likely, if you're dieting or you're doing things for a quick fix, that will go away. It's not a true measure of progress. You want to measure your progress from your growth, right? From how you change your mindset, from the actions you're taking, right? Like if you are, like Abby, you hike the Grand Canyon, girl. You hiked the Grand Canyon. Huge progress. Focus there. Focus there. Focus on the things you are doing that feel good. Focus on the little subtle things that you've noticed have changed. So for me, when I was going on this journey and I started working with my coach, I had to look at the tiniest, smallest little increments of change to measure progress. Progress is not measured on a scale or with a tape measure. Progress is measured by how you feel and what you're doing, right? And what we do 80% of the time matters more than what we do 20% of the time. So focus on what you're doing 80% of the time. And when you have those 20% little oops, which is probably what we call them, don't put your attention there because they don't matter. They don't matter. Focus on what you're doing 80% of the time. You measure progress internally. It's by your actions. It's by the things you're telling yourself. It's by the mindset, the way you relate to food. How do you sit down and eat? Are you eating mindfully, right? So when I first started eating mindfully, it was painfully hard at first. And then it became easier. And then it became one of my favorite things to do. And now I love it. And I love to sit and I love to eat and I love to enjoy my food and I love to just look around and listen to the birds. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but it is literally one of my favorite times of the day. And you guys, when I started doing that, my body started releasing weight. One of my clients yesterday shared with me that she's back in her favorite 18-year-old pants. These pants are 18 years old. She's back in them. I'm like, how do you keep a pair of pants for 18 years? It's awesome though. It's so awesome that she's back in her 18-year-old pants. I'm going to share some other things that she shared with me on our call yesterday that were so empowering. I'm going to be sharing them through email and doing some posts on social. But basically it was just, here's someone who has so much going on in her life. She's got 4 children. She's a nurse. She's got a lot going on. And she is making progress through the number one thing that I noticed. Like, yeah, she's fitting back into those pants, but that she said is changing for her is the way she feels so much more peaceful now. And that the times where she would normally binge and normally go off the rails, she's not doing that right now, right? So she's got a lot going on, and times when she would binge or when she would use food or go or overeat, she's not doing that now, and she's got so much more peace of mind. That is progress.